What up, gang? Carolina Jackpot time coming at you on Thursday morning. I hope everybody's doing good today. Kentucky versus South Carolina, 7:45 this Saturday night in Williams-Brice Stadium. Gamecocks coming in with a record of 2-2, but 0-2 in the SEC. Kentucky Wildcats come in off a bye week with a 2-1 record. They are 0-1 in the SEC, having dropped a game 2 weeks ago, 30-23 at home to Ole Miss. They also hold victories over MAC teams Akron, and they also won their season opener against the Toledo Rockets. What can we expect from this matchup? Just going back, I've watched highlights of Kentucky's first 3 games. I actually watched a lot of their first game against Toledo. Didn't watch so much of the game against Ole Miss. I'm not sure why. I think there was another game on during that time frame that I was just, quite frankly, more interested in. No offense to either team. And then, of course, last week they played Eastern Michigan. And, I mean, you can only watch so much football at one time and really pay attention to it. So I didn't catch any of that one, but I did go back and watch the highlights. They've made a change at quarterback. Of course, over the offseason, they brought in, out of the transfer portal, Zach Calzada via Incarnate Word. He's also been at Texas A&M and Auburn. So he has SEC experience, but I just don't think that he was able to move the ball through the air the way that they wanted to. Wasn't able to operate the offense, I guess, as efficiently as Stoops wanted. So they have made a change and is now going with the redshirt freshman quarterback, homegrown guy, Cutter Boley. Now, his name is spelled B-O-L-E-Y, so I don't know if it's Boley or if it's Boley, which would be French. Big Barney Ross, proprietor of the Kentucky Blue Balls channel, calls him Cutter Boley. So he knows about all things Kentucky, so I'm going to refer to him as Cutter Boley until I am proven otherwise. But this is kind of a tall, rangy kid, like a 6'5", big 220-pounder. He's out of Hodgenville, Kentucky, which, by the way, is the birthplace of Abraham Lincoln. For those of you who didn't know that, I believe he was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school, so he's pretty highly thought of. And he had a pretty good game the week before last against Eastern Michigan, through the air, through the ball for about 280 yards, had a 179 QBR, a couple of touchdowns, no picks. Last year, he had some action, threw 2 touchdowns and 4 picks. So it looks as of right now, he's cleaned his game up a little bit. But keep in mind, they were playing the Eastern Michigan Eagles, which is probably one of, if not the worst teams in the Mid-American Conference. The context is key here. Offensively, Kentucky's kind of gone back to what they know. A good line of scrimmage and bruising running backs there. Bringing in out of the transfer portal Seth McGowan via Oklahoma. Looking back over his stuff, looks like he was injured or just out of football for a couple of years, it looks like. Not really sure what the story is on there with him. I do know that he was at Oklahoma when Shane Beamer was there. Shane Beamer was last at Oklahoma in 2020. He was talking about him in the press conference the other day. And Beamer told everybody he is an absolute dog. Well, here's my thing. If he was available in the portal and you had experience working with him and you knew he was an absolute dog, why you try to get him instead of us going with this free Sewell routine all damn summer, leaving us hanging in the lurch? And more about him in a second. And then they also have Dante Dowdell, who's a transfer from Oregon and New Mexico State. Or was McGowan at New Mexico? One of them was at New Mexico State for the past couple of years. Pretty effective running the ball. Almost 300 yards apiece so far this year through 3 games. Dowdell has a little bit higher yards per carry average than what McGowan does. McGowan has slightly more yards than does Dowdell. They also have another kid, Jason Patterson, rushed the ball 13 times for 80 yards. So they can move the ball on the ground. And I'm not really sold on them being a team that's really going to hurt you through the air too much, because Eastern Michigan is not a good team. So I kind of look at those stats and just kind of gloss over that a little bit, to be honest with you. Until he does it against a good pass defense, good team, I'm not really sold on that yet. I don't see a lot of mobility from Cutter Boley. Doesn't mean it's not there. The Gamecocks are the type of team who could let some kid like that get out on the outside and run it for 10 or 15 yards. We're just kind of, this defensive unit, let's just be real, guys. It's taken a step back this year. It's taken a major step back. Now, the whole South Carolina can't stop the run thing is a little bit overblown. They did not have a good day last week against Amon Hardy and Mizzou. A lot of teams ain't going to have a good day against Amon Hardy and Mizzou. The guy's an animal. Our buddy Cole Kubelik over on the Cube Show of the SEC Network also described him as a bowling ball with chainsaws attached to him, the way he runs. I've never heard that kind of description before, but it doesn't sound like anything I want to fuck with. You know what I mean? Gamecocks, prior to that, they haven't given up 4 yards a carry in a game yet. Virginia Tech 3.1, Vandy actually at 3.9 yards a carry, and gave up one big chunk 44-yard run there to James L. Lassiter for a touchdown. So that kind of contributed to that number. They actually held South Carolina State under 2 yards rushing, which is not a big feat. It's what you're supposed to do. Can South Carolina stop the run on these guys? That's the burning question. That's what we're going to find out. I don't know what the deal is. There's a lot of stuff going on with Dylan Stewart. Getting upset, ran off the field on Saturday, didn't stay to sing the alma mater, and Shane Beamer had to run after him. And I mean, credit to Shane Beamer for doing that. I mean, if it's a requirement that you stand there and sing the alma mater, or you either are present when the alma mater is sung, I'm not really sure of the dynamics of that, then you fucking stay there and do it. You're part of the team. You don't run off the damn field. So, I mean, I don't know if, what his deal is, but that needs to be cleaned up. He shouldn't accept. I don't care what you think of Shane Beamer or his coaching staff. They should not accept attitude problems, period. Yeah, you're losing. You've lost 2 games in a row. It sucks to lose, but guess what? Every one of you are losing together. It's not like you're the only one who's pissed off, buddy. Y'all need to get pissed off together and do something about it. I watched Stewart, some highlights from just highlight plays the other night. He absolutely blew up one of those Mizzou running backs who was blocking for whatever the greasy-headed kid's name is from Perbula. I call him Greaseball because he had all this grease all over his face like Cade Klubnik. They try to look like a badass. Well, this guy actually did play like a badass, too. So I got to give him that. Cade Klubnik just spread it on there. I guess he was finger painting or something, because he definitely has no badass in his game, not this year. I'm trying to tell you people that too. Try to tell everybody that. He's a trophy contender, whatever. A participation trophy contender, maybe. But he blew up some kid back in the backfield. I don't know if it was number 20 Roberts or if it was number 29 Hardy who was trying to block for him. It was probably Roberts, because Hardy, I don't see him blowing up the bowling ball with chainsaws like that. But almost knocked him back into Perbula, but instead Perbula squirts through for like a 13-yard gain. I mean, it's just, just not finishing. I mean, just couldn't get him down on the ground. Enough about that game. I'm so damn pissed off about it. I really am. There's no excuse for the way they played in that game. The soft, taffy-ass mentality that seems to have crept in is really, really, really disheartening after what we saw last year. We knew we were going to take a step back, losing some skill up there. But, you kind of thought that those older guys, the Kyle Kennards, the Alex Boogie Huntleys, the Debo Williams, the Nick Emenwaris, the Tonka Trunk Hemingways. God dang it, man. These roads are shit! would have they kind of would have paved the way for a new attitude with this team, and that you guys would have been able to take that attitude and carry it forward, and maybe even expound on it. I haven't seen jack shit of that, to be honest with you. Outside of the Virginia Tech game, I thought you played pretty well defensively. Turns out Virginia Tech might be dog shit. Was it a combination of Virginia Tech being dog shit and South Carolina's defense being maybe okay? I don't know. I mean, you've got to establish a new identity here Saturday night. You got to wipe the slate clean, guys. I wish they had a bye week to get ready for this game, but you don't. This is the way the schedule goes. You don't. You got to bye a week before LSU. And I'm looking forward to that game because I'm going to it. And for some odd reason, and I don't have anything else to base this on, I think South Carolina will play well in that game. I'm talking about 2 weeks. But this game is the one that we're talking about right now. This is the one that you have to play well in. This is the one that it's going to define whether or not you go to a bowl game or not. Right? You know, at one point they were talking college football playoff. You know, I made my pick and prediction video. I knew that college football playoff was pie in the sky. I knew it was. First of all, your over-under win total was set too low. Vegas is not stupid. Now, they knew South Carolina was going to take steps back and be dog shit. You know, all of us just kind of ignored that, or a lot of you ignored that. I'm not going to say I was in that group. A lot of you ignored that, and no, they don't know. I picked them to go 8-4. I gave you my best prediction. I thought that it was my best prediction and gave you 8-4. And I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be real with you. I wanted to give you a loss against Vanderbilt. I really did. And I think maybe if y'all listened to that video, you could tell by that tone, I wanted to give you a loss against Vandy. And everybody could have said, well, Carolina Jackpot called it. It's been that long. I knew they were pissed off about last year. And I just didn't think you had the heart and desire this year to go out there and do it again. But I gave you a win against my better judgment. Turns out my better judgment was not good judgment because you didn't do it. This game is this game is going to come down to this. Number one, I've watched Kentucky's pass defense. It's not good. This kid from Eastern Michigan, Noah Kim, sounds like somebody works in a Chinese restaurant. Or sells or gives away Gideon Bibles, excuse me. Maybe does both. Noah Kim, almost 300 yards actually over 300 yards passing against you. That's not good. Tucker Gleason from Toledo, almost 300 yards passing against Kentucky. And then Austin Simmons from Ole Miss, about 250 yards against Kentucky, but then they have a running back there, Jiggy. What is his name? I'm drawing a blank on the Ole Miss's running back's name. Anyway, I'll think of it in a second. He ran for about $150 on you. So I mean, there is room to gain some yardage on the ground against Kentucky's defense, but Ole Miss offensive line, I'm sure, is infinitely better than South Carolina's. Because, I mean, hell, I don't doubt that Eastern Michigan's offensive line was infinitely better than South Carolina's. It's going to be another game where we want to see Lenore Sellers go to the air like he did last week. He did some good things, guys. He did some elite shit in the pocket. He also did some dumb shit in the pocket. He's got to clean up the dumb shit. The play call from the 1 yard line, I don't understand what the hell happened there. But I will tell you this, and this is why I was talking about the free Sewell routine. If you go back and look at the clip of that, someone named Gamecock Sin, calls himself, over on the Twitter box, put up a clip of that play where we see our boy, Free Sewell, who's supposed to be blocking this blitzing backer, but blitzing safety, I don't know. They loaded the box. I don't know who he was, what position he was. Doesn't matter. He's supposed to chip him, block him, keep him off of Norris. What does he do? Instead of meeting this guy head on in the damn hole, which is what I would have done, because you know why? You got on a football uniform. You got on a helmet and shoulder pads. That's what it's for. It's to absorb impact so it don't make that shit hurt so bad. There's nothing to be scared of, man. You've been playing football for years. There's nothing to be scared of. He falls down on the ground in front of this guy and kind of rolls around and just lets him right by him, gets the pressure on Lenoris, gets the sack. Then we turn around, we got a holding penalty. You're backed up to almost midfield. That's where you lost the ball game right there. But you also lost the ball game because Lenore Sellers is your best player, and you won't run him. And I get that he was under concussion protocol. I get all that. I get it. I do. But when everything else is falling down around you, what else do you do? When you can't run the ball with anybody else, it's like the house being on fire. Okay, the house is on fire. Do you at least try to stump out that flame over there that's going to take out the path over here to your kid's room, or are you just going to let it keep burning because you're scared of it? No, you're not. It's a bad analogy. Sorry, it's early. Point being, you need to let your playmakers make plays. I saw a play where he blatantly stepped out of bounds where the defender was like 3 yards off of him separation, where the old Lenoris would have turned it back upfield, gotten contact from that guy, whether he liked it or not, would have probably knocked that guy down like he did against Texas A&M, driven him into the ground and picked up another 3, 4, maybe 5 yards. Hell, he might have ran him over and escaped for 15 yards because we've seen him do it before. And guys, I'm going to be real with you. I don't know if that's so much them telling him to do that, or, I don't know if somebody's in his head telling him, you're fixing to be a top 5 draft pick. You don't need to hurt you need to protect your body, blah, blah, blah. And he may be sniffing his own farts a little bit because he's still got some things in his game that need to be picked up and cleaned up. A lot of hate towards Mike Shula. I get it. Offense not playing well. Guess what, guys? If your offensive line can't block, every play call is a bad play call. It simply is. I thought they did some decent shit against Missouri. I thought keeping him in the pocket and trying to beat them with those deep throws was pretty damn smart because you knew you wasn't going to run the ball against them, but you weren't running the ball with your best athlete who was going to be able to get you some yards, maybe, potentially. The Free Sewell can get some yards when he has holes to run through. He can get a burst when he gets to that second level, but he's got to get some holes to run through. We don't have that. You got a weak offensive line. You need a bruising type running back, and so it's either to me Attaway or this other kid Matthew Fuller. I was happy to see him in the game on Saturday night. I thought he did a good job. I'd like to see more of him. I'd like to see Jawarn Howell get to play too. And they kind of talked about that in the press conference, that they were having tough conversations, and there may be some new faces out there. I want to see Jawarn Howell get some carries. Kid looked good in the bowl game to me last year. It was one of the few bright spots in that otherwise huge shit stain that was a bowl game. By the way, were any of you guys joining me in the crowd that took great pleasure in watching Fat Burt Bielema over there on the sidelines of that 63-10 beat down, or whatever it was, 66-10 against Indiana, and get that ugly Cheshire grin, shit-eating grin wiped off his big fat face? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it immensely. Speaking of faces, have y'all ever looked at Mark Stoops on the sideline, the Kentucky coach, the one I call the human baked potato? Is he ever happy? I don't think he's ever happy. I don't think that I have seen this man crack a smile. I bet he didn't crack a smile when his firstborn came into the world. I bet he didn't crack a smile on his wedding day. I bet he didn't crack a smile the first time he got a little bit of nookie. I think he's maybe possibly never smiled. He is one staunchy looking individual, but he's a pretty good coach. Now, my prediction on this game, South Carolina's favored by 6 right now. I think the over-under is about 45. There's still a lot of talk about, the Gamecocks going to come home. They're going to break out. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. They're going to put 40 up on the board against somebody. They're going to have a get-right game. And I've wanted to believe those things for a while. I've wanted to believe those things. But when I watched you get run out of your own stadium by Vanderbilt 2 weeks ago, something died inside of me when I saw that. It's just pathetic, guys. Just pathetic. So knowing that you can't run the ball, knowing you're going to have to try to beat them over the top, I think Kentucky's back end is kind of poor. I also think that inherently these running backs for them are going to get some yards. Because even though you were able to stop Virginia Tech and South Carolina State, you stopped Vandy. Vandy is not to pick up big chunks of rush yardage. That's just not what they do. They methodically just they kill you softly. In other words, softly, and it's a soft, slow death. Mizzou did. The penalties, too, I didn't even mention the penalties. You've got to clean that shit up. You cannot win a ball game, period, against good competition, having an entire football field, and by that I mean the 98 yards worth you had the other night, of penalties. It's just not, it will not happen in the Southeastern Conference. I don't care if you're playing Kentucky, Mississippi State, or whatnot. I saw a power ranking of the SEC teams. South Carolina, I think, was like 13th. And Kentucky was on the bottom. I mean, why is this team on the bottom? I mean, they kind of went blow for blow with Ole Miss for a while and had the lead for a lot of that game. They finally gave it up. They covered the spread against them. The other two teams, I mean, yeah, they didn't cover against Toledo. But Toledo hasn't really turned out to be a really good MAC team yet. I don't think this is a vintage Toledo bunch. And then they destroyed Eastern Michigan. Well, they had to destroy them, to be honest with you. Let's just back that up. They gave up a bunch of yards to Eastern Michigan. They had a bunch of yards themselves and just outscored them. I think it was 48-23. I don't know that I would put them at worst in the SEC. I don't know how you put anybody worse than South Carolina. I really don't. I mean, look at our body of work over 4 games. It's been crap. So I think that whoever ranks these teams, it's just either they're not watching the games or they're just listening to out noise from someone else that's influencing their opinion on this stuff, because I don't see that at all. Here's my prediction on this game. Kentucky covers the spread. I'm not ready to make a call on it, win or loss. If South Carolina can beat them over the top, and we can at least rush the ball for 75 yards. I'm calling it 75 yards. I'm not even giving you 100 because I don't think you can do it. And that includes sack yardage. Okay, so that means limiting sacks. South Carolina will win. If you can't rush the ball for 50 yards or less, and then you have problems getting over the top on them, and we still see those tackling issues, Kentucky will win. They'll win this ball game, and you'll drop your second straight night game in Williams-Brice Stadium. And you probably won't get one another all year either. So if you guys want another night game, you probably best win the damn ball game. Because the Alabama game is in the flex window where it could be at 3:30 or it could be at 7 o'clock at night. Oklahoma's going to be a noon game. That's already been decided. Clemson is a noon game. And Coastal Carolina, I think, is a 4 o'clock start. So those are the only other home games left. The rest of them are roadies. It's time to nut up or shut up. If you guys don't win this game, you will not make a bowl game. You will not make a bowl game, period. I don't know that you make one even if you do win it. The road in front of you is extremely difficult. We've already talked about this. You win this game, I think you beat Coastal. That's only 4 wins. It's only 4 wins. I've already predicted you to beat Clemson. I think South Carolina beats Clemson. I think Clemson sucks. Okay, and they may get on some kind of little mini roll Don't be fooled by that little mini roll. They're not beating Louisville, and I don't know that they beat Florida State at home. I'm not as high on Florida State right now as everybody else is, just because of that Alabama thing. I need to see more from them before I'm totally sold on Florida State. This Friday night against UVA on the road will go a long way towards letting me know what Florida State actually is. I'm not shitting on Florida State. I'm not talking shit to the Florida State man. Yes, your win over Bama, it was a good win. It was a really good win. Alabama has been trash on the road under Kalen DeBoer. And I admit, I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I went ahead and took the bait, and I said, oh, Alabama's going to blow them out. That win, yes, it was a good win. It was a solid win for your program. It got you back in a good place. It's got you vaulted back in the top 10. I personally think you're overranked. You blew out Texas A&M Commerce, which is something nobody's ever heard of. And then you blew out Kent State. Everybody blows out Kent State. Everybody blows out Kent State. Kent State's been blown more than damn Elton John in the 80s. Shit. I mean, my gosh. Anyway, I think Kentucky's going to cover this game. Guys, that's my best bet of the week. Kentucky covering that 6.5 point spread against South Carolina. I'm not ready to call a winner on it. I think field goal kicking may come into play here, and they've got a kid he's out of Montana, who kicked a 51-yard field goal, I noticed, against Eastern Michigan, and he's done pretty well this year. If he was out from Montana, he might have kicked that ball over the mountains right there for practice. So, Kentucky's covering the number. You let me know who you think is going to win this game, but if they don't cover it, I would be very, very surprised to see South Carolina go and blow this team out. I would be shocked. In fact, losing it is not anywhere near out of the realm of possibility, because we've already shown what we were in that Vandy game. And that, I know Luke Doughty played in that game, but I don't care. I mean, it's Vanderbilt. It was at home. You should have came out with a way to win it, and you didn't. So I don't want to hear Vander's a good team, jackpot, they're good. Well, you're supposed to be a good team too. You're supposed to have good players, and you have not lived up to that billing. Please make me proud on Saturday night and win this ball game. That just please win this ball game, because I'm telling you, there are some other good football games on Saturday night. Some really, really good games with some really good teams. Unlike us, Georgia, Alabama, Penn State, Oregon. Games I want to watch, and I'll have to put them over here to the left of me on my small TV, watch them in that split screen thing while I'm live streaming our game. Just hoping, I guess, that we can stop old Seth McGowan on third down. Y'all got to stay on the field on third downs too, by the way. You got to stay on the field. Third down conversions have been dog shit. Anyway, I'm tired of talking about the dog shit. I'm just tired of it. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that you figured something out, guys. I'll see you all later on. Appreciate you. Peace, and I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks. Woo!